GMC.com. Do we have Steve? Steve, kind enough to join us. His site's on fire. Genespage.com, 247 Sports. Steve Robertson joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Steve, it's still an important day, but how National Signing Day has changed since 5, 10, 15 years ago for the two of us.
Yeah, you're right. It's still a very important day, and really it's just kind of the relief of the end of this phase of the process, because there's been so much of a priority placed on the portal. And a lot of that too is not just immediate impact, but, fan interest. I mean, as you know, a lot of people not quite as engaged with high school recruiting, because it's like, hey, I don't know if this guy's going to be here in 2 years, but I know that this portal player is expected to be on the field this fall. And so we've seen a bit of a shift of interest, but it's still exciting. And, Mississippi State going to be adding some additional players today too that haven't formally committed just yet. So.
All right, Bralan Womack committed a couple of days ago, the 5-star out of Harfield. He had been committed to Auburn. Walk me through this, Steve, on Bralan Womack, and also kind of what kind of player he is and what can Mississippi State fans expect?
Well, he's a guy, I would say in some respects, he's a more physical version of Jonathan Banks. And what I mean by that is he has the ball skills and the football IQ to get on the field very early in his career. This is not a guy that's going to need 2 or 3 years in a college weight room or watching film to be able to get out there and make plays. I think that he is a guy that could be in the mix as early as next year. He is an extremely talented player. At one point, he was rated the number 1 safety in the country, and it's a laundry list of offers. This is a huge get for Mississippi State, and it's so interesting too. There was a time State really just couldn't get in the game with him. And the thing that I have said many times to people, it's easy to be committed to a school in April, right? And we're seeing some of that kind of come to fruition right now on National Signing Day. And all of a sudden, you get down to the reality of things. You get to your football season, you get that as a distraction. You look up in December and you're like, oh, I'm committed to a school 7 hours from home. I don't know if I want to do that, and Bralan, I think, was a guy that was probably always going to stay in the Southeast, but credit Jeff Levy and really credit Bralan Womack too for kind of keeping an open mind about things. And, we expect him to stick. It'll be a surprise if he doesn't, but this is a guy we're really excited about.
Okay. So, it's not official, and until it's official, you don't ever know who else could come in. Is that where you are?
Yeah, I mean, Auburn obviously could try to come back. I mean, he's been committed to them much of the process.
Sure.
And, Texas A&M hosted him on an official visit. And I was told shortly after that happened that was a little bit too far from home. But, I don't think Bralan's the kind of guy that's limited no matter where he goes. I think he is an NFL talent, and I think that's going to show no matter which football field that he calls home.
All right. Walk me through who else. Nickerson?
Yeah, Micah Nickerson out of South Pike. Yeah, we absolutely expect him to flip back to Mississippi State. It was one of those deals in the beginning. It was kind of a surprise when he flipped to Missouri, and I had a lot of skepticism and told people, this one isn't over. And a lot of people say that, but Mom, extended family are all down there in Summit, Mississippi. He's a product of South Pike High School. I think it's just a matter of time before Mississippi State releases him as an official signee. I've had some conversations with my counterpart in Columbia, Missouri, and that's the expectation they have as well, is that Micah Nickerson will flip back to Mississippi State here on National Signing Day.
All right. When it all shakes out, how many guys do you think Jeff Levy will sign today?
Maybe 29 or 30. We'll see how it goes. I'm also expecting wide receiver Kemion Henderson Jr. out of Carthage, Texas. That's not official yet, but based on the indications that we're getting right now from some people close to him, we do expect him, former Arkansas commitment that opened things up after Sam Pittman was fired. And it just seems like Jeff Levy and Chad Bumpus always do this. Like every year with them, there's always this late receiver they pick up. I mean, 2 years ago, it was Ricky Johnson. Last year, it was Isaiah Mitchell. I mean, it seems like they're never satisfied with the number of receivers, and they keep grinding to the very end of the process. It looks like for the third straight year, the state's going to add an out-of-state receiver on National Signing Day of some real merit.
Steve Robertson, his board site is on fire, genespage.com, 247 Sports. All right, can you give me another player or two that you're pretty damn fired up about in the class?
I think, I don't know that, and Caleb Morris was just announced as a signee. I don't think that Caleb Morris, that whole recruitment is kind of flown under the radar because, he committed so early in the process. But this is a guy that, after he committed to Mississippi State, got offers from both Auburn and Alabama, but yet he's going to sign with Mississippi State. And I think the coaching change at Auburn had a little something to do with it. But the reality of it is, this is a guy from Montgomery, Alabama, that in the beginning, he had a host of like G5 offers, and then State kind of gets in the boat with him, and then his recruitment takes off. And I think that he's a guy that can really help. He's probably 2 years away. Probably needs to get in the college weight room and kind of get that baby fat off of him. But I think this is an underrated recruiting win for Mississippi State that nobody's really talking about. And under normal circumstances, if the nation is more engaged in high school recruiting, I think that's something worthy of headlines.
Okay. All right, Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. Do you think that Mississippi State made a run at Durkin for defensive coordinator?
Oh, I definitely think they inquired. I don't know how down the road they got with him, but yeah, why would you not, right? You absolutely have to. That's a guy that has done a great job at multiple schools, and then he wasn't getting a lot of traction, I guess, as a head coaching candidate, and you got to go out there and throw a line in the water and see if he hits. But I feel absolutely confident, without any question, that Mississippi State kicked the tires with him. But he's staying at Auburn, so you got some other options, and you're working through all that.
And you're working through that too. I know you got to get through the rest of the signees. And somebody asked on the text line, are you concerned about Bralan Womack? Steve?
I'm always a little bit concerned
Fair
until
enough.
it's official. Yeah, because no matter how well sourced you are, no matter how think you've got it driven down, until it's officially official, anything can happen. And we've been through this before. I was joking with David Murray last night. I think his first signing day, with Stone Tablets and Chisel, and we were kind of recapping some of that stuff. But I go back and I think about like the Kenny Ashley thing in the Kroom era. Everybody thought Kenny Ashley's fine, and all of a sudden USC gets involved with him late, and the kid's telling Guy Holiday that everything's going to be fine, and then Guy Holiday ends up smashing his phone outside of the Bryan building before a press conference. It's high theater type stuff, and no matter what they say, and no matter what you think, until you see that official release from your respective school, you can never just feel completely okay, right? Am I optimistic this is going to be taken care of? Yeah. But I've been doing this so long, I understand you have to expect the unexpected, and we can all sleep tonight. We just got to work through the day to day, and I think it's an important day for Mississippi State. But yeah, you lose Bralan Womack, it certainly takes a lot of luster off the day. Okay.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. So you feel like tomorrow and Friday will be buzzing too around the Mississippi State football program, right? Even after signing day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting week. And there's still some recruits out there that are going to make their decisions later in the week. And I don't know how much of that gives traction to Mississippi State. But, there are some things that we expect to happen, some staff additions and some changes. And, I think right now the focus is National Signing Day. But the news won't end, today. There's going to be news in the weeks ahead. And then, of course, once we get done with, Christmas, we're going to be wide open in the portal, and there'll be a bunch of guys that will announce between now and then. Exit meetings with players are happening now, and so
right.
There's a lot that happens. Following college football doesn't end at Thanksgiving anymore. It is a year-round thing, and that's a great thing for us. But for fans that love college football, there's never been a greater time to be alive.
I couldn't agree with you more. There is no off season. And I mean that. There's not one. Steve Robertson on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Isaac Smith, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, he's going to have some opportunities. And, I talked to him a few weeks back, and he goes, I'm either going to be at Mississippi State or the NFL. And I don't know how that's going to play out, but I know that there will be some other schools that will contact him, and I feel pretty confident some already have contacted his representation. So that's something, too. Roster retention is a big part of this thing. Coach Levy and those guys are going to have to kind of you don't have in-home visits for high school recruits in December anymore. Well, now you have them for your current players. It's just so crazy how the prospects of all this has changed.
Oh, wow. Camario Taylor, you still feel good?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Camario. And one of the things I want to say, and I grew up in this fan base, so I feel like I'm entitled to say it. There are a lot of people that rest their insecurities on the back of the Mississippi State Bulldog athletic programs, right? It's like they think, we're just forecasting failure. Nothing ever good happens to us. That's just not true.
No.
And to be honest with you, and I've said this when I speak, for all of you that have daughters and granddaughters, please ensure that they marry a very positive Mississippi State fan, because we're trying to breed that negativity out of the fan base.
Yeah, there's no doubt. It's Ole Miss is glass half full, and Mississippi State is, I need to go extreme to do the analogy, but yeah, no, there is a group that like wakes up and loves to be pessimistic,
Well, we're just happy to have a glass. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
that's the thing where it kind of goes. And I'm grateful for what we have, but I just don't understand, how you get through life constantly forecasting failure. And I've been in recovery a long time, and one of the things that we talk about, there's two kinds of people in the world: those that think they're going to make it and those that think they won't. The funny thing is they're both right.
Yeah.
You got to have a positive mental attitude about stuff, or you're never going to get anything accomplished. If you constantly forecast failure and impending doom, well, it'll find you.
That's true. All right, I got a minute. Is there anything else? Did I miss anything?
No, I think we talked about Kenyon. We talked about, Micah, and of course, you add Big Cooper Crosby last night. That's a good get.
Okay. That's
a really good get. And he and Jaden Hill will go head to head for a 7A state championship this weekend.
Oh, in Starkville, in your town. Okay.
How about that?
All right, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate
See
it.
ya.
MHSAA state championships in Starkville, Mississippi this weekend, Davis Wade Stadium. That's got to be cool for any of the high school guys when they get to do it at Vaught Hemingway Stadium, Davis Wade, or The Rock. We are the Out of Bounds Show, and lunch today is brought to you by Martin's in Livingston and Martin's downtown. Fantastic food, great atmosphere. Grab a buddy and get some lunch today at Martin's in Livingston.